Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the stream. This is Vegas Postman, and today we're going to be doing some more Salvation. I'm enjoying this gaming loop, and hopefully we can end up getting a contract to go out and get a hammerhead. That way we can strip it of its RMC and pull all of its components out and weapons and things like that, break them down, and see what we can make off of the game loop for a single hammerhead. So let's get right into the action here and see if we can pull up a contract, and hopefully we get lucky and we can get one right off the rip. Okay, let's go into salvage here, and what do we got? Origin 400, Inferno, Starlift, and Volturapin, Aegis Retaliator. Nope, doesn't look like we're gonna get one right off the rip. Okay, so we'll check back in a minute. We'll let some of those contracts expire, but let's pull up the Ironclad. It's been a while, so I also want to check the state that it's in to make sure that the game has saved all the nesting that I've done. 4.8 was a little bit rough for it maintaining the persistence that I have it in. So we'll see how it is now. I've reloaded the Nursa into it and the Salvation. I've also put some componentry and things into it. So hopefully when we get inside of it right now, everything is where I left it. That would be nice. Because if you're truly going to use, ships as bases and bed logging and, doing things like that, it's very important that all this stuff, hangs around. Oh, there she is. She got a big booty on her. I was immediately drawn to this ship once I saw the concept art of it. I knew, that it was coming. Being a new player to Star Citizen, I was very eager for its arrival because I had I have a very intentional purpose for this ship. So when we left off last video, we were using the Moth, and we went to the refinery. So we do have some stuff over at Mike L1 to refine, and there it is. There we go. Salvation and the Nursa. I use that Nursa just in case I happen to have a death or a bug. That way I can backspace and get myself out of a situation in case the game encounters any problems. So it's kind of a safeguard for me. I do eventually want to put in this little elevator area, probably an Atlas Geo. So I can do a little bit of mining, and maybe a rock too. Okay, let's get this girl up in space, then we can hopefully have some new contracts since the old ones may have timed out. Headlights off, we don't need those, but we will turn on our VTOL. Looks like we're either just coming to sunset or sunrise. Oh, we got a player coming into the hangar. Looks like the Tului. Not really sure of the new ships. Those are the alien cargo ships, so. Alright. Gear up, and away we go. Pulling away from New Babbage International Space Station. Once we break atmosphere here, we will pull up the logs and see if we can get ourselves a hammerhead. — 24 minutes on these contracts. Let's take this Hercules. Where is this one? Doesn't say where it is. Just retaliator. You told be around Michael 4. I'm going to take this one, even though I don't know where it is, just to see. Locate the claim. This isn't far away at all. Let's see if we can get specifically on. Nope. Go to the Michael 1. I wish they would put in some kind of a key function or key bind, just swap between your jump points, like when they're layered like that. You know, and then it can, you know, you can select them, because there are times also when you're just freely jumping around the burst where, you know, you'll have like a perfectly lined up, you know, 2 moons plus a planet that you want to go to, and it you know, makes it very difficult to, you know, to get to the destination you want. Sometimes you'll have to, you know, you'll have to dog leg jump it, and, you know, jump to, you know, a different angle. That way, once you come out of your quantum, you're now able to, you know, select the exact one you want. But it's just at Michael 1 here, which is good anyway, because that's where our refined materials should be sitting. Our construction materials should be sitting from last night's Moth gameplay. Trying to get the nose as close as I can. The rear of the hatch. Fill the engines here. Let's go see what kind of cargo it has aboard before we start stripping it of its limits and other things. Helmet check there. Good to go. Could actually re-up on our hydration and that. So let's just lay down real quick in our medevac. That's another reason why I bring it. Not just for the regeneration side of it, but also for the fact that, you know, it gives you, you know, hydration and all that stuff. Quite sure how to open the rear. Oh, there it is, ramp access. Just hope it doesn't ram my ship. I don't think it will. So I wanted to back it off a little bit. Some stuff here. Let's pull out our aluminum. That's good. We'll take that. Looks like we got some pretty good stuff here then. See, nope, we don't. See, that's a waste. Yep, you can go bye-bye too. was going to say, that was odd. It wasn't showing the ability to snap on the... Now it's doing it again. So it looks like we're getting some pretty good materials along with this contract. They have trimmed them down, though. They were much, much, much better, but, you know, whatever, beggars can't be choosers. You know, I think people were exploiting certain things which were... locking it in. Big old 32 SCU. I don't really care about that. So we will do a flingity fling. Yeet. Just make sure that snapped behind there and it's not free flow. Yeah, it did. Okay. This should be all the cargo. Now, where does this ship keep its componentry? I want to say it's up one floor. Use bay. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get these components out. Yeah, I don't think I am. Because they're too large for the size of the ship. I'm not going to be able to get them through the passageways. Yeah, there's no way. No way. Won't even let me pull on it. Actually, you know what? I don't think size 3 componentry is actually fully physicalized yet and able to grab. That might be it. Okay. Well, that cuts down the time then. Cuts down the money, but it cuts down the time also. So we'll close this bay up, and then we'll start collecting the RMC. Some of the weaponry here, these size 4s break down pretty nicely. Definitely give a pretty penny. There is still a risk of someone, coming at me because we are fairly close to the station. So, this ship and myself doing this job is in full visibility of this space station here. So, just to be a little safe, once we strip this last gun off of here, we'll pull the salvation out, and then we'll close up and lock up the Ironclad. That way we don't allow anybody to steal our claim and whatever equipment we've collected so far, along with the cargo. And that's why I like bringing the medevac, because occasionally when you EVA from space out of the salvation, you lose control sometimes. And let me see if I can rotate this one and will it fit. Ooh. Yes, it will fit. There, perfect. Okay, so let's get the salvation out. You know what? Is that bay down? Yes, the bay is down. What's that up?
Space Industries. Enjoy the ride. System check. Takeoff complete.
And this is one of the benefits of an ironclad. You have this very large opening for the bay door.
Engines off.
And this is sometimes the part that gets a little sticky where you just, for some reason, it won't let you control your character. Nope. We're good to go. Flat is all locked up. Let's start collecting some of this RMC.
Engines on.
I don't know why it reset that, but okay, let's start scraping. So this is the other type of salvage loop that I was talking about that I enjoy. Yeah, so this is the main one I will run if I'm doing the RMCs with the Salvation and the Ironclad. as a a home base mothership type setup to vary the gameplay, but still stay within the salvage loop. And I'm not going to get all the RMC off this, but I'll get a good fair amount. I'm not going to be quite as picky as I am with the smaller ships, to get 100% of their contract, because I mean, a ship like this, I won't be able to munch, obviously, because the salvation is so small. But what I will do is I will take my Ironclad that has the size 5 cannons on the bottom side of her belly, and I will use that to destroy this ship to complete the contract. So I'll go until I'm done scraping, until I'm tired of being on one ship for X amount of time, and then I'll just destroy the ship with those cannons. That way I get the contract cleared, and then move on to the next. This is definitely the longer of the two gameplay loops. The fracturing disintegration loop is, as you saw from any other previous videos, or if you play the game yourself, it's a much faster way to move through contracts. And personally, I'd like to see them buff the RMC loop. This loop right here, I think its pay is a little bit underwhelming. But do this whole way. Do it from the outside. Star Citizen's version of Power Wash Simulator. wonder how much RMC I'm actually going to get out of this ship. Never really paid attention. I don't know, I just keep kicking out boxes and throwing them on the ship and... Already got 3.3 SCU. The hoppers are quite small on this salvation. It's only 6 SCU, and then I'll have to eject the boxes. But luckily the auto eject on this will take care of that while I'm filling the hoppers some more. So I'm running this laser in gimbal mode right now, and what gimbal mode does is it allows the ship to stay still while you move your mouse, and it only moves the laser heads. But if I were to take this out of gimbal mode, I would actually be physically moving the ship. So I just find it easier to scrape in gimbal mode and manually move the ship with strafing and, you know, forward, back, and then I can keep on point much better. As opposed to, you know, the ship tilting. It's got our first batch done. We are full, so we will go down here to auto eject and get back to business. But that's going to eject those 6 SVU boxes onto the rear hatch that I closed just before we took it off. Then now I'm just refilling the hopper. Once the hopper's full, I'll jump out. Throw the boxes into the Ironclad. Come back out. Continue. Position gimbal mode off. That way we can get a better take. And now we'll go back to gimbal. Yeah, and I'm trying to do this for speed and efficiency, not necessarily worrying about every nook and cranny. Because as you can see in the upper right hand corner, the ship is 86% stripped. Towards completion of the contract, and I mean there's a fairly large portion that's already been done, and this ship is, I mean, it's absolutely massive. A relaxing game loop. does take quite a bit of time though, especially on these large ships. I haven't even explored putting other scraping modules and scraping heads on this salvation. I think I might start looking into that, because I know there are, you know, braids and things that'll strip much faster. So if I can get my efficiency up with using better scraping tools, then that'll definitely come in handy. But I just don't know how much I want to start upgrading ships, especially when the game is in an alpha state, because, you know, I mean, I'll end up losing it all, because once the reset comes, you know, because we just had a reset for, you know, gameplay very recently when they introduced inventory. So, and obviously there will definitely be another one once 1.0 comes. So. Hey, we are full. Put the mining heads away. Where's the ramp exit? That's there.
Engines on. Landing complete. Takeoff complete. Engines are off.
Did anybody see that Talui right there? It was right at the back. He was trying to sneak in my ship and see what I had. Gotta be careful. There's pirates out here. That is part of the gameplay. He is probably like, oh, what do you got in there, buddy? I'd be able to inject from here. Yep. There we go. Snucker. Wonder if he's hanging around somewhere. That's why I always close and lock up my ship.
Engines.
360 luck here. He's probably just checking out what was going on, seeing if he could grab anything. But not my first rodeo in MMOs. Me and a friend used to play Sea of Thieves all the time, and God, that was a great game. Like, we're talking like, we're talking, you know, when the game was in like alpha beta state. It was a great game. Let's lock that gimbal on. we're full again. There we go. Eject. Wait for that first box to kick out. There we go. And we haven't even done one side of this ship. One full side. We still have the top side to go. These ships are definitely an investment. If you do a hammerhead or this, you know, you have to make sure that you have the time allotted. You know, you can have this play session to make sure to, you know, do as much of it as you want to do. Let me see. It should be, yep. Belly. The cockpit. I want to run an experiment too. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm not actually going to sell everything tonight. I'm going to store this ship in Mike L1 just to see with the retention rate. I mean, I'm really trying to break these servers, and then I can send off the report to them, and they'll be able to see what happened during gameplay. You know, if any cargo happens to get lost between this gaming session and the next, even though the ship could be safe and stored, so I'm not expecting it to, but, you know, when a game's in an alpha state, you know, you don't really know. You know, they could do a hot fix tonight or tomorrow morning or something, and, you know, it disappears, which is okay. You know, it's not a big deal now because the game is in alpha. You know, when the game is in its 1.0 launch, you know, they should have a guarantee that, okay, nope, this isn't going to happen. Which I kind of have a feeling, which that's what 4.9, 4.10, and maybe even part of 4.11, if there is. Will be, you know. I really think from 4.8 they learned their lesson, and you know, just don't put out an unstable product just to get it out. It doesn't do anyone any good. It doesn't make the players have fun. It's not good for you because you know it's, you know, not in a, you know, 100% workable state, and, you know, it's, you know, don't damage your own reputation. You know, there's no need to. So just hold on to it, you know, which is what they're doing with the Siege of Orison and all that stuff now. It's, you know, it's going through another round of testing and all that stuff, so you can't just put something out just because, you know, the patch must ship. No, that's not a very good, you know, metric to, you know, do an update cadence. Oh, damn. This thing is fucking huge. Okay, let's take off gimbal. So, huge. Holy huge. What do we want to start on? There might actually not be a lot of composite right here, but we'll see. Yeah, see, sometimes your vents and your, you know, a lot of these things just aren't scrapable. we at? We're at 1.8 of 6. I think we'll fill up the hopper since the bay is full, and then we'll call it on this ship. I made plenty of money. Plus, I'm ready to get off in a little bit. I like keeping my gaming sessions short and sweet. Test some stuff, get on, see what works, see what doesn't. Improvise the game plan, make adjustments, come back. Play tomorrow. I'm not even scraping that much material. .45% of the ship has been salvaged, though, just through RMC means. Trust me, chat, I understand how ungodly boring this must seem to you. I get it. I get it. But this is the gameplay that I play, so hopefully you enjoy Star Citizen and you can understand my joy right now. Oh my god, we're only at 2.0. Why is this one taking so long? There is like no material on the bottom of the ship. It's very thin. Oh my god, that's painfully slow. Painfully slow. This gray material is very thin. Yeah, it's almost not worth it getting it. Like 2.3, like I've only raised like 0.2 in covering quite a bit of distance. Yeah, look at that. I've already gotten 0.2 already in just that small little bit on this tail. 2.6. That's very thin material on the belly of this ship. 3.7. Can I get to 4.0? Taking forever. Looks pretty cooked. Guess I could try right here. Get another 0.3, see how quickly this goes. God, this is brutal. Yeah, I think we're done. For sure. I'm happy with the take. Gotta be careful.
Engines off.
I don't like that.
Engines off.
Oh, we've got it still. It's just kind of floating with inertia. Just in time, too. I've got to get a drink. 37%. those last couple of boxes. Oh, no. This way. Just be able to hit that button again. Excellent. We salvaged quite a bit from that. A couple of really good weapons. Size 4 and size 5s. Whole lot of cargo from inside. Plus the RMC that I've just scraped, so now we are going to go up into the oh, you know what, actually let me go to the medevac and fill up my hydration and so on. Okay, now we're gonna take the Ironclad. We're gonna move it up just a little bit, strafe up, and then we'll use the size 5 on the belly of this to clear the contract. I noticed the Ironclad still has that bug when you get back in it, even though the ship still had power when I left it. It was, all the MFDs were showing, no power. And this girl. Oh. Remember, you always want to clear contracts because even though it may not do it now for all of them, you will lose rep. Like you do lose rep in the in cargo missions if you abort or abandon. Which is why it's so painful now when you when you can't complete a mission and you have to abandon it. Now, technically, I could go out there with the, you know, with the salvation and grab those smaller pieces, but that's another good thing about pairing the salvation with this ship. You know, you can still break it apart. You can still complete the contract. You can still do all that stuff. So it makes for a very good mothership for, you know, for this. Mining, I don't think it would work so well because you'd have to bring bags with you. But since this auto ejects and it creates its own containers for you to stack inside the cargo area, it works fantastic for the salvation loop. Or for the salvage loop. Alright, let's go to Mike L1 and we'll park this thing. And then we'll continue on tomorrow morning. I'll probably be jumping on. Grab a cup of coffee. Just chill. Let's just pray we don't have any issues until we get this thing parked. Because right now there is a lot the game is keeping track of. Ships, the cargo, the guns, the nesting of other ships inside of this ship, all the other weapons and tractor beams I have in various places around the armory and things in the ship. So I'm just trying to push the game to its limit. Bay's over there, and I think there's some down. course, it's got to put me at the awkward one, right? Because the ship is probably not gonna, or the door is probably gonna close before I even get up there. Dirty dogs. One thing I do want to check on since we're here at Micah 1 is, might as well have them push that cargo into my hangar elevator here. That way when I'm ready to load it up and rock and roll. Be there. Because next time I log on too, I'm also going to have to take these weapons and break them down. I do have a fabricator here and at New Babbage, so I'll probably just break them down here for the materials, make agricium and all that stuff, and then load that cargo on here for a final trip down to New Babbage. Should be a pretty good payday. Should be a good workhorse. Good workhorse. Allows for extended gameplay sessions, and you know, that's what I like. You know, can you make money faster? Yeah, but I enjoy doing this. The the complexity of it, and nesting a ship in another, and doing all that stuff. But it does come with a risk, because if I do happen to hit a bug or a failure, or my ship just blows up out of nowhere, well, that's the cost of what I lose is much higher. So. But, obviously I accept that because I'm doing it, so. She is stored, so let's head over to the refinery now. You know what? You know what I'd actually like to check? Take a look at the admin here. Was able to offload that one. Construction materials, I can offload those. Another 200,000 there. Oh. Valid quantity error. Sell max. 16 SCU. Sell. Okay, so that's still bugged. That's been a bug for quite a while now. That's okay. So they don't need any of the mats off of my, none of the titanium, tin, aluminum, RMC, 21 units of that, copper and iron. Come on. I tried. They don't need any of the stuff that I'm carrying. Opening inventory. You still have 227 badgers? Really? Oh, that's right. I never broke these down either. Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff I gotta break down with the fabricator. Huh. Excellent. Drinks. Excellent. Great play session tonight. Alright guys, that's going to do it for me this evening. I just want to say thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed the content, just throw me a like. Maybe think about subscribing if you want to see more. Really enjoyable, relaxing gaming session tonight. So definitely check out Starfield if you haven't. If you do play it, you already know. So I just want to say thanks again. And I will see you in the next one. Bye everybody.